Hello and welcome to my presentation, Would You Like a Little Sitecore with That? My name is Markus Klimmasch, and in this session, I want to show you how we can utilize Federated Experience Manager, or FXM, to integrate Sitecore with non-Sitecore websites. Let's have a quick look at the agenda. First, I'm going to introduce myself. Then I'm going to give you a feeling for the challenges of integrating Sitecore with external websites and how FXM can solve this. This part also includes a demo. Afterwards, I want to point out some of the limitations of FXM before a final conclusion. Let me first tell you a bit about myself. My name is Markus Klimmasch, and I'm lead Sitecore Solutions at Namics. As you might have heard, Namics becomes Merkle starting from April next year. Namics, or then Merkle, is a full-service digital agency, and we're Sitecore Platinum implementation partner. To my background, I have 11 years of web development experience, 8 of which have been in the Sitecore area, 7 years in consulting, and I work mainly in 3 industries, which are insurances, life science, and the airline industry. I also won a Sitecore Experience Award that was back then at the Zurich Airport for the travel planner. Now let's have a look at the challenges that customers normally face when trying to integrate Sitecore with non-Sitecore websites. The first one is using Sitecore content on another external website. For example, your portal. You might have a portal, and although you have all these nice components that you can use within Sitecore, you just all the features that you you can personalize and track. You might want to use these components on a separate website, for example, your portal. This could be, for example, you have this nice component here that's called free trial, and you might just want to show the exact same component, the exact same content, just somewhere else. The same issue happens with tracking. So whenever a contact is browsing your website, your Sitecore website, you can track them pretty well. You can use all the personalization features and tracking features. But as soon as he's on an external website, he becomes kind of blurry or even invisible. You don't even know what this person does on the website. So we need to try to combine this blurry and the real contact, or even make the contact visible on the external website. This is basically what FXM does. So the first feature of FXM is it lets you use Sitecore content on external web pages. It does so by making the browser loading personalized content from Sitecore upon viewing of the page. So effectively, you can just mix Sitecore content to your existing website. As you can see, since the content manager can edit this content, now you also kind of make your external page content manageable. Same you want in the other direction as well. So FXM lets you track contact from an external website by making the browser connect to Sitecore and sending the tracking information. This makes our content and our contact now visible even when it's on the external web page. So how does Sitecore achieve that, or FXM achieve that? Well, it's not that hard. The setup is quite straightforward. You just copy a snippet from your Sitecore XP into your external website. Here's an example of the snippet. You see it's not very complicated. And what that snippet does is upon loading the website in the browser, it will connect to your Sitecore instance and now allow bidirectional communication for tracking and reloading of content. Well, it's not that easy, of course, as putting that here. You might have some security issues, especially regarding CORS and CSP. But let's see this FXM in action on a system where I don't have these security issues. So here's my demo page, and you see I have a Sitecore instance here. And I have a Sitecore implementation of the Merkle website. This is a true original Sitecore instance, so I have all the personalization and data management features available. Then I have a static HTML site next to it. This will act as my portal page. That is a completely different technology, for example, and it's on a different URL. As you can see, it's a quite simple page, and we have some part here that we want to replace with the Sitecore. Page itself is just a simple HTML page, no magic here. What I need to do when I want to extend this web page with Sitecore functionality is I'm going to start the Federated Experience Manager and add an external website. I need a name for this website. I just call it FXM demo, and I need to enter the website domain, which is simply the URL of the website in this case. Once I save this, Sitecore will give me a warning. And this warning is that Sitecore cannot find the JavaScript beacon on the external website. So to enable that, I need to copy this beacon, which Sitecore provides right here, and just paste it in the HTML of my external website. When I reload the Experience Manager again, I will now see that there's no more warnings, and instead Sitecore tells me that the JavaScript beacon has been found. So now I can open the Experience Manager and basically use Experience Manager functionality on my external website. You see that now the external website is shown within the Sitecore UI, and I can use it, for example, to add a placeholder. And what I want to do is I want to add a placeholder and replace the div with the ID right column content. So I'm hitting replace and giving a placeholder a name. And once I do that, we can see that the original content is gone. And instead, I can see that I can add some components here in my new placeholder. Let's add a component there. I want to add a paragraph image text. And I want to set the data source to some specific data source for FXM, but I can also use whatever content items I have already defined in another website, in the Sitecore site. Once I do this, we can get a nice preview of what it might look like. And once we publish the website and reload, we can see that now our website shows actually Sitecore content in addition to the static content on the website. To show you that is actually real, that I can use all the Sitecore functionality, I can go to the content editor, find my item that I just put in my external website, slightly change it, publish, and reload my external website. And I can see that the content has been changed. So now I can use all functionality, all Sitecore-related functionality for content management and show my content on the external website. So out of the challenges that we saw in the beginning, that's actually half of the features I want. But it gets even better because I can also use personalization here. Let's just say I want a special personalization rule for Tuesday. The rule is kind of simple. I say when the current day is Tuesday, I want to show different content. I want to show content that is specific for Tuesday. Tuesday because I recorded this session on a Tuesday. When I now publish this website, this FXM site to be specific, and reload, I can see that I now have personalized content because it's a Tuesday. This content would also automatically be changed back to the default content on all other days of the week. So in addition to loading content from Sitecore to my external application, I can also put information back. This is this tracking part. For example, I can say I want to capture a click action on my external website. You can see that there's a button here, and Sitecore is selected and tells me it's a button. And I'll add a new action. I give it a name. And I say, when this happens, I want to trigger the goal login. OK. Save. Publish. What happens now is we reload this page to show it to you. Whenever I click the submit button on the login page now, you can see that in addition to the functionality that is coming from the portal, I also sent some request to Sitecore. And this request actually lets us trigger a goal in the Sitecore backend. Unfortunately, I cannot show you exactly these events I triggered here right now, because it takes up to 30 minutes until these events are recorded. But what I can show you is that that this works by showing you the context that I used and the events that I triggered earlier when I was playing around with it. And you can see here that we have these login goals triggered. I also have some FXM demo event here that I triggered on the external page earlier. So much for the demo. So that's how FXM works. Unfortunately, there's also some limitations of FXM. Some of them are more severe than others. For example, FXM has pretty limited usage with single-page applications, which is, of course, due to the way FXM works. You cannot easily replace content that has been dynamically loaded. So you might need some workarounds for that. There's no A/B testing available, and the scalability is pretty poor, also just due to the way that FXM is implemented. So you might not want to just create a static website and then do all Sitecore functionality through FXM. There's also little documentation available, official documentation, but there's quite some blogs, etc., out there where you can look up and get a pretty good idea what's going on. So what is the conclusion? If FXM works for you, definitely go with it. It's the easiest way to extend sites with Sitecore functionality. It is very little effort to set up, as you have seen. It supports the experience editor, so your content editors don't have to learn anything new. It supports personalization, and you can trigger goals, events, and outcomes. If FXM does not work for you, there are some workarounds to basically get the same functionality. I tried to put all of them here or a few of them here in a matrix to give you an idea how effort, functionality, and maintainability for all of them are in comparison to FXM. For example, you can just import an iframe into your website and just show the Sitecore content, which is not a lot of effort, but also might not be great for responsive websites, and the maintainability might get a little worse. Of course, you can always just contact us, and we will find a good solution for you. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Up there are my contact details, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Enjoy the rest of the Sitecore World Tour, and goodbye.